Last time on Salty Dog Sport Fishing Hawaii, it was trouble in paradise. Nothing went the guy's way.
It's the one thing, guys. It's his fault. That really was a bummer. One of those days.
The girls had better luck.
That's a blue marlin.
In a Hawaiian-style showdown.
You didn't like that.
In Hawaii, when the time is right, you invite a kumu, or a Hawaiian teacher, to your home or business to celebrate the tradition of a Hawaiian blessing. Today, the Latoff family gathers to give thanks and ask for protection as they traverse these waters.
It was a beautiful morning. We met down at the boat. I was very nervous. You know, I was a little anxious and nervous.
Typical Kona day, which means it was perfect. You know, beautiful blue skies, a little light breeze to keep things cool.
Just the amount of people that ended up coming down to watch that and be a part of it. Bunny Kahanamoku.
He was one of the truly legendary fishermen in Kona.
All of our friends and everybody, and they were all there to support it, which was really special.
We've been wanting for some time to do a traditional Hawaiian blessing of the boat. Custom in the Hawaiian culture to bring in a kumu and do a blessing, say prayers in recognition of the God's in control of all things, and when we go out on the ocean, we need His protection.
Keala came down and actually performed the blessing. He called us down front to the back of the boat, and it was just a beautiful ceremony. It was almost one-on-one.
The mailele, if we look at it as it hangs like that, it represents a part of our body that is very, very important. Hence the reason why our kupuna did not always go to just a halepule or church just on Sunday. The mailele, as it hangs right like that, it represents our spine. And our kupuna knew that as long as we stand as straight as possible, we are able to connect to the higher spirit.
He has such a powerful voice. It comes from deep inside of him, and you could hear him all over the harbor.
Na puna vai o kona I ka ho'ino I a mauna o hualalai no koma kua o ia wahine e o lai
I just felt so blessed getting to be a part of that, really deep, because I know what it means to the Hawaiian people. And just to know that the acceptance that means.
I ke o lao na ka nei ka aina e o la e pi ilu nau ke au e ho ino I kalani ala neu e o la
I was just kind of in awe of what was going on.
Gave you a very good, very spiritual feeling.
It was a very special ceremony.
It meant a whole lot. It really did.
You have to look around and, you know, it's overwhelming. You can't feel more closer to God than here.
The reason why Kona is such a good marlin fishing spot is essentially this, that the big island of Hawaii is like a big rock sticking out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's clear, it's warm, and it's teeming with life. There is no continental shelf warning marlin of a major coastline. One moment, they're swimming in 3-mile deep water, then the next moment, they're right next to an island. The Kona coast has this great eddy effect happening. Like any rock sticking out of the stream, there is an eddy behind it. The trade winds and currents hit the windward side of Hawaii, causing upwellings that stir up nutrients and attract fish. These upwellings, known to the Hawaiians as koas, are concentrated in some locations due to indentations in the underwater slope of the island. The ancient Hawaiians knew of these koas and actively fished and stewarded them, so it's a no-brainer to expect good fishing here. As far as depth preferences, marlin inhabit the epipelagic zones of most tropical and subtropical oceans. The epipelagic zone is the zone where most life is concentrated and where light penetrates, roughly the top 600 feet of the open ocean. Within this area, the marlin stay closer to the warmer surface water, the top 300 feet, only venturing down for short intervals to chase squid and tuna. Marlin can't stay in the cold water for long because they don't have the mechanism to heat their brains like tunas and swordfish do. But along the Kona coast, there's plenty of prey up in the warmer surface waters. Perfect feeding grounds for the blue marlin.
Salty Dog Sport Fishing Hawaii is brought to you by the Hawaiian Islands. Plan your dream getaway now on the Big Island of Hawaii. Farish Media, from concept to completion, we turn ideas into images. By Salty Dog Sport Fishing Charters, join the crew for the best sport fishing in Hawaii. And by McKenna Ford.
This is Mike McKenna, and that's Hana Boy. Like he says, couldn't be a better time to buy.
This morning, the Latoff family was embraced by the Aloha spirit in a beautiful Hawaiian blessing ceremony.
I just felt so blessed getting to be a part of that and just to know that the acceptance that means.
Joining the family is Samuel Alapai Kahanamoku III, also known as Uncle Bunny.
The slip that the Salty Dog's in now is actually Bunny's old slip.
The way that we actually got to meet Bunny was through our next door neighbor, Uncle George. He and Bunny have been real good friends going years back. When we got the slip for the Salty Dog, one of the first things we noticed is the Hawaiian word ho'olili, which was ingrained in the concrete behind the slip with little Hawaiian pebbles. Ho'olili is a Hawaiian word that references the ripples in the water that a school of fish makes. We made some inquiries and found out that Ho'olili was the name of a boat that was owned by Bunny Kahanamoku, who was a legendary fisherman in Kona years ago.
That just made it even more special and how everything kind of comes full circle.
It was just a connection that felt like it was almost meant to be. As we pulled out of the harbor, the beautiful flower leis and the thing that they put all around us that they had blessed us with, you know, we gave it back to the ocean and gave it back to God. You want to give back. That's always been, you know, in my heart to give back. And what a beautiful place. You see this place and you just want to give back to it.
Bunny is the nephew of the legendary Duke Kahanamoku, but make no mistake, he is his own man. Uncle Bunny truly embodies the spirit of Hawaii.
Before you had your GPS or your fish finders and your depth sounders, you know, he knew how to fish the old way. You didn't have a GPS, so you would line up a certain palm tree over a rock on the beach over here.
There are 3 coconut trees.
A rock up on the hill, you would line that up with a church steeple.
Right outside of those coconut trees is a core.
When those 2 marks lined up, you were on the fishing spot, and that's how they fished. That's how they found where the fish were.
We were sitting up on the helm and just chit-chatting about the history of Kona and the history of fishing and how much has changed and what hasn't changed and what he loved about it and what I love about it. And I don't know, it was a really special moment to sit up there and get to talk with one of the legends.
It's about 15 fathoms where we're going to 30 fathoms. That's where you can catch those big eye fish down deep. They're called machong.
He also had a lot of knowledge about reading the water.
Whoa, baby.
Noticing little subtle things that would indicate fish that maybe most people today that rely on the electronics that they wouldn't notice.
Oi, oi, school of oi, oi just popped up.
I kept peeking around while he was up talking one-on-one.
Keep my mouth shut and my ears open. You learn more that way.
And they were just smiling at each other. I realized how special that was.
We actually came back to our property here in Hawaii, and Bunny came down, and he's an absolute wealth of knowledge.
This was all royal land. Over there was where King Kamehameha III was born. They made a big ranch, and this is where they shipped cattle out.
It's like being around an encyclopedia. He's so intelligent, so smart, so articulate.
The most important thing in life is to be able to recognize your reflection and be appreciated that it exists.
It meant a lot for us. It was just a great feeling, a real special day.
Like, wow, this really is really special.
God's got a reason for all of this, and I could just feel it. Being around Uncle Bunny, I could certainly feel that.
6 months after becoming the captain, I caught a 1257, which was, at the time, the largest Pacific blue caught on this island. I was experimenting with pure whiteheads that we called the Godfather, and I had a hole drilled in these lures, and I would make the skirting apparatus for them and put that on, and I would actually sand the heads by hand, put them in the water, watch them run. If they didn't run the way I wanted them to, I'd bring them back in and hone them down and throw them back in the water until they ran right. So that day I was playing around with the lures very, very close to the boat. We were right on Kaiwi, probably 90 fathoms, which is, you know, right in front of the harbor. The first wave lure went off and we didn't see it. We thought it was a Ono. So we played it like it was an Ono, and it started taking line and more line and more line. Pretty soon we're getting spooled, and this fish went straight offshore, spooled us almost all the way down to the knot. The fish made a big giant loop, came flying back at the boat, made a big jump right by the boat, and then actually went by the boat. We got a little bit of line and jumped right by the rocks on Kaiwi. So we got all our line back, and then it went straight out to sea and spooled us again. So 2 major runs with this fish really tired the fish out. We got on this fish, and I told Doug Haig, was my crew at the time, I said, Doug, we're gonna get 1 shot at this fish. If we get leader on it, don't let go. And he held on, and I got a gaff shot, and we got the fish turned around, had to actually plane the fish up on the fly gaff rope to get a second shot on the gaff. We got the rope on the nose, started towing it to the pier. Told my dad that I think I just landed the biggest fish I've ever seen. And he says, well, what do you think, 700, 800? And I said, no, it's a lot bigger than that. He goes, bigger than 1,000? I said, yeah, I think so. And so he got all excited and came down to the pier, and he says, hurry up, get a tail rope on it. And I said, okay, we got the tail rope ready to go. So we get the tail rope on the fish, and we start hauling it out of the water. And what I wanted to do to swing it over towards the boat so I could close the mouth and put a tie on the mouth so we wouldn't lose anything. And as the fish swung over the pier, it lost its stomach, and we lost a lot of the contents of the stomach before getting a line around its nose. So we probably lost about 75 pounds of stomach content. Otherwise, the fish would probably have been over 1,300 pounds.
There's a new crew on the Salty Dog today. It's a mixed bag of tricks. Captain Mitch, still learning his skills from the more experienced captains in Honokohau Harbor, has brought on Tracy Epstein, born and raised in Hawaii. Today's angler is Lauren Miller, who by the age of 14 had already set 8 IGFA world records. Also on board is probably the most colorful of the bunch, Ian Kyneth.
Bye-bye.
The Salty Dog is out to sea today, looking for one specific ocean predator, Pacific blue marlin.
It's a gorgeous day. Tracy and Ann, they missed 6 blue marlin yesterday, so they're definitely biting. This is what we've been waiting on all year. We're just gonna go down to the zone, keep our hook sharp, see what happens. We definitely have the A-team crew on here today, so we're gonna have some fun if we do hook one, I can guarantee it.
Ian Kyneth sums up his day on the 5-star.
We had a crappy day yesterday. Yeah. No for 6.
Morning at sea is time to relax for Lauren. Her work is yet to come. First, the crew preps the lures and lines.
This is a large tube. It's made by a guy named Wes. He makes a couple versions, but this is a large tube and it's a hammer. I think it's gotta come in like a bunch.
One of the lures isn't running to Captain Mitch's liking. Even the slightest misalignment on the skirt or position of the hook can affect how the lure runs, so they make an adjustment. It's back running perfectly.
We're going Disneyland.
The Salty Dog heads south, past Red Hill, towards Tango. They'll pass by Kealakekua Bay, the site where Hawaii was first discovered by the outside world. Hawaiians had already been here for over 1,000 years. The fin of a Pacific blue marlin breaks the ocean's surface. Hungry for prey.
Reel it up, reel it up. There he is, short corner.
Ian is the wireman on this one and grabs his gloves. Tracy will back him up and also has the tag stick. Captain Mitch has his 31-foot Bertram in reverse, working the throttle and backing down on the fish. A captain working in harmony with his boat will catch a lot of fish.
go for it. He goes nuts again. Ian did a good job on it.
We're gonna have him here later.
Stay tuned for scenes from our next episode. Salty Dog Sport Fishing Hawaii is brought to you by the Hawaiian Islands. Plan your dream getaway now on the Big Island of Hawaii. Farish Media, from concept to completion, we turn ideas into images. By Salty Dog Sport Fishing Charters, join the crew for the best sport fishing in Hawaii. And by McKenna Ford.
This is Mike McKenna, and that's Hana Boy. Like he says, couldn't be a better time to buy.
Next time on the Salty Dog. Same crew, different fish. Captain Mitch Ladoff hangs alongside world record setter Lauren Miller.
Here comes up again.
As Tracy takes the helm. And Ian, he's just being Ian.
Redneck fun, love it.